On Monday, a treasure trove of documents was made available by a congressional oversight panel that showed that Trump loyalists at both the Department of Health and Human Services and the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention actively worked to suppress COVID data in order to make Donald Trump look like less of a complete failure. This includes, but is not limited to, testing. They tried to suppress test results so it looked like we didn't have as many cases as we had. They tried to suppress, and they successfully suppressed to a degree, morbidity and mortality rates so that we couldn't know how many people were actually dying of COVID. They tried to alter those. And of course, they tried to change their own guidelines on how people should behave during the pandemic to better reflect what Donald Trump wanted these agencies to say. We're at the point now, and I'm glad that Congress has their hands on these documents, and I think they're going to move in the right direction. But we have to have full-blown hearings in Congress, and Donald Trump himself needs to be called in to testify to find out what the hell happened. You know, we're looking at a death toll right now that's quickly approaching 500,000. But I think that's a gross undercount based on all this information we have now. Because we started getting reports back in September that this administration was actively suppressing data, withholding money for testing for cities and states so that the numbers couldn't continue to climb. As Trump himself said, you do less testing, you have better numbers. Yeah, he wasn't just saying something stupid. He was literally at that point telling us what his plan was. And we knew in September that this was going on. And now we have the documents. If you're trying to make any kind of legal argument, if you're trying to win a lawsuit of any kind, documents are key. If you've got those smoking gun documents, which these pretty much are, you can win anything. However, this is not a criminal proceeding. This is not a civil proceeding. What we're asking for at this point is simple. Get these people in front of Congress, put them in front of cameras, make them tell us what they did, what they knew, and most importantly, who told them to do it? Why did they do it? Was it to please Trump? Or was it because Trump specifically asked them to? Because believe it or not, there's a world of difference between the two. If these agencies and these individuals were acting independently just because they thought, oh, well, this will make him happy, let me do it, that's one thing. That's on them. But if they did it because he told them to, or he had hinted that he wanted them to, then it's on them and him. And that's what we have to know. We have to get to the bottom of this because our response to the pandemic here in the United States has been absolutely disgusting, to put it mildly. Hundreds of thousands of people sent to an early grave because of this man's incompetence, and his own administration was trying to cover it up from the very beginning. The documents tell that story very clearly. There is no question about it. There is no doubt. We know what they did. We know who the players are. You have Paul Alexander from HHS. You have Scott Atlas from the COVID task force. And of course, you have Donald Trump, and you have many other players in there that these documents lay out quite easily. Mike Pence, Alex Azar, all the names are there. We know who to call to testify. So make it happen. These are answers that the American public has to have. If we want to move forward, if we want to be able to really tackle the pandemic in any kind of meaningful way, we have to know what happened, who suppressed the data, and where the real data is. Because we cannot hope to overcome this until we know where we really stand as a country.